A proclamation of the Pierce County Council and Executive proclaiming November 25th as Family Caregiver Month in Pierce County, Washington. Whereas Pierce County comprises approximately 10.68% of Washington State's total population, and there are an estimated 87,000 family caregivers of adults in Pierce County who provide unpaid care with generous hearts and faithful devotion to loved ones who navigate chronic illness, disabilities, and other special needs. And whereas family caregivers of adults in Pierce County are the backbone of our long-term support and services and are estimated to provide over 82 million hours and nearly $2 billion in unpaid essential services in care. And whereas the majority of family caregivers of adults often balance their important work with other significant responsibilities, including managing households, maintaining employment, and raising children, making immense sacrifices of their time, energy, and resources. And whereas Washington is one of 13 states, along with the District of Columbia, that have laws requiring paid family leave, which covers an individual's serious health condition and or time off needed to care for an ill family member. And whereas many family caregivers do not self-identify as such, and raising awareness of the importance of their role is a critical step in connecting them to valuable resources that can reduce stress and prevent burnout. And whereas innovative programs like tailored support for older adults and WA Cares, Washington's long-term care trust, have brought and will bring sources of funding to help unpaid family caregivers get a break from caregiving, learn new skills, and access self-care and wellness resources. And whereas Pierce County recognizes the invaluable contributions of family caregivers who provide essential physical, emotional, and financial support to loved ones in need of care, and through the Pierce County Family Caregiver Support Program, offers critical resources including respite care, counseling, and training to help sustain the health and well-being of those who give so much of themselves. And whereas with the adoption of Resolution R 2021-201, Pierce County became a Hidden Hero County in 2021 to raise awareness of the efforts by the family members of injured military service members and veterans, which brought resources and community networks to support caregivers who lean on each other as they do the work to care for their loved one. And whereas evidence shows that respite or short breaks from caregiving are mentally and physically restorative for family caregivers, and the Pierce County Family Caregiver Support Program seek to fill that need by serving unpaid family caregivers with consultation, respite care, training, support groups, and other services through our Pierce County Aging and Disability Resources. And whereas given the expected increases in Pierce County's older population, the workforce challenges we face, and the population shifts that will decrease the number of family members available to care for their older relatives, we must provide support for family caregivers and acknowledge the essential role that family caregivers fulfill in our society. Now therefore, be it proclaimed on this 28th day of October 2025 by the Pierce County Council and Executive that November 2025 is Family Caregiver Month in Pierce County, Washington. Signed, the Pierce County Executive and the Pierce County Council.
Let's give them a hand.
Thank you, Chair Hitchens. Thank you, Councilman Yambe, for sponsoring. And thank you, assembled council members, for being here today. My name is Matt Santelli. I work at the Pierce County Aging and Disability Resource Services as Education and Outreach Specialist. And one thing that I do in the task that I have at the office is to fan out around the county and remind people of the programs and services we have to support seniors and disabled adults to stay at home, safe, healthy, and financially stable as long as possible. One of the programs that we emphasize all year long is our Family Caregiver Support Program. What we find in dealing with older adults that are in family caregiver situations, there's a lot of depression that goes along with that task, a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of isolation, and there's even some physical decline that goes along. So we want to find those older adult couples especially so we can support them in giving them some in-home relief care, 24 hours a month in that program. We can provide them with some housework and errand services. We can provide them with some caregiver counseling and some medical equipment. And unfortunately, when you look at the statistics, depending upon what study you read, anywhere from 30 to 70% of the time, the spouse that's providing the care dies before the person they're caring for. And so those become disastrous situations where someone who's in need of care no longer has a caregiver available. So our outreach all year long through our Alzheimer's conferences, our caregiver conferences, our guardianship summits, our education series including Oh My Gosh Now What, which is a dementia information series, our caregiver support groups, everything is designed to support those couples. And it doesn't always happen to be a couple either. Sometimes it's an adult child taking care of mom. Sometimes it's mom taking care of a disabled adult child. This particular program is unique in that we manage it completely in-house, and we identify those who have the need for the relief, and it's just a matter of the caregiver. If it's the husband and wife, for example, the husband calling and saying, hey, I need some relief. I'm feeling kind of isolated, overwhelmed. I need some help from your program. Fully subsidized, no cost to the couple, up to a monthly income of $6,000 a month. There's no asset test. And if they call us, we're the one that's going to approve and authorize the services. So when I'm out talking about these programs, sometimes you meet these gems of people like Sharon Tupa, who's here with me today, who really takes it upon herself to promote our programs and services within her own community and her neighborhoods, and becomes like an evangelist for our services. And so that's why I invited her today. After having met her at some of the events we were sponsoring, she actually started to talk more about her own caregiving journey. And so I invited her here to share tidbits of that and other things that she's been doing in that caregiver world and the services that we provided her to benefit the care she was providing to her husband. So I will introduce you to Sharon Tupa.
Good afternoon. My husband was diagnosed with stage 4 renal cancer after a long process of waiting to figure out what was wrong. And he elected to have treatment, and the treatment is tough, really tough. So after about 10 months, he said, you know, I'll take my chances with the cancer. I'm not going to have my heart stop. And so then we just had a number of months made so much better, because just that very month, January of this last year, I did approach a DRC and was able to have a person assigned to our case by the name of Betsy Hurd. And she came out to the house and went through our finances, etc., in a very pleasant manner, and we qualified. So she said, we have many different services that can do this for you, but I'm going to recommend you to Catholic Community Services. They're very dependable. And so then about 4 weeks later, Sasha came out, and she went through, and within the week, we met Raul. And Raul came 4 hours every Thursday morning. He cleaned the house. He learned to play cribbage from my husband. I could hardly get my husband to walk to the mailbox. Raul got him to walk 2 blocks to the bus stop, wait and watch on the bench for a few minutes, and walk 2 blocks back. That was progress, and that just doing that and looking forward to doing those things. Then along the way, I was able to schedule my dental appointments, my medical appointments. Everything was done on Thursday. When I had dental surgery, I was able to have a few extra hours of help that week. And then I actually got to go out to lunch with a girlfriend from my class, Ketchikan High School. And I did some things to really kind of relax my perspective and get away from just all of the stress for a few minutes. So I really appreciate it. It's a wonderful program, and I hope you'll all become advocates. Thank you.
Thank you. It would be a shame if you didn't actually remind us of the phone number that people call while you're here. So, Mr. Santelli, can you remind, if people are intrigued, who do they call?
Thank you very much. Yes, all the time, 253-798-4600. They can also visit our website at www.pierceadrc.org. Tons of resources on there for caregivers. And please, when you call, you will talk to a live person within a minute or two. We pride ourselves on 80% or higher picking up those calls within a minute or two. So don't give up, call, we'll talk to a live person, we'll get you started on this program to get you the relief that you need. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to look to my colleagues to see if anyone has comments or questions. We'll start with Vice Chair Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. This council does proclamations for a reason, to highlight things that affect us all. Family Caregiver Month, who would have thought, right? But at some point in our lives, especially as we get older, it's going to touch probably almost every family. Somebody is going to deal with this, and learning what the, some of the things that are out there that services for folks that can lean on to help. I mean, you heard some of the stats where, the caregiver is deteriorating faster than the person that needs the care. And that is a true thing. And there's a lot of people out there like that. So this puts some tools in my toolbox. I'm getting educated, and the public is getting educated what's out there. And, sometimes proclamations can, in some people's opinion, can be a little silly. This is not one of them. This is an important one, and I appreciate bringing it before the council. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We'll go to Councilmember Yambe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks to our ADR team for the great work on this and so many other important issues for our seniors and our people with disabilities populations. I'm reminded of my uncle, who, even though my grandmother had lived in an assisted living home, you have to pay for all the extensive services. And this particular one, he would drive on a bicycle from Bothell all the way down to Totem Lake every morning before she woke up to make sure that the mattress was put underneath the bed, so that if she fell, because she had osteoporosis and some other conditions, and she had cracked her ribs before moving furniture, and she was, had some light dementia, and that he did that because, it was a labor of love, and he cared greatly, and so he would sit there for hours just listening and keeping her company. I'm reminded of some of my friends who have children with special needs, and as they get older, those needs will increase. And the isolation that sometimes that you feel when you're taking care of others, we do it because they're family, we do it because they're our friends, but it takes its toll. And even the small moment away, even just to take a breath and stand outside, is such a relief and such a important thing to balance and reset someone. And for all the family members and loved ones who have taken care of an ill relative or someone with a temporary condition, it's just like it's a reminder of how this is just an example of what it could be like when it's a prolonged illness or disability, and that you're constantly thinking about that other person, and so you don't have time to take care of yourself sometimes, and not knowing if there's resources out there to get a break, to get support, to talk to other people who deal with it, and a lot of them don't have the sat through a course or have the college degree and being able to do that. So this is invaluable, important issue, and as my council member colleague alluded to, like in 2050, I think they said 60% of the population will be seniors, and that's coming up, and these services and these things will be even more necessary. And so it's good that we're starting to be aware of it now, and hopefully we continue to invest further in these, because the issues are just going to get more complicated and they're going to get more frequent, and we're all going to have to deal with it. So thanks for the awareness on this issue, and thanks for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Councilmember Gruber.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know that I have all that much more to add, aside from it's like my day's coming. And it's just such a treasure to know that you folks are there in the heart to be able to go out and help folks. That is such a needed thing. Loneliness is an epidemic. And even more so when you're caring for somebody and you can find no respite. I can remember a time meeting with some folks who had children that were 24/7 forever needing care, and the respite they had at the time, this was probably 20, 15 years ago, was being defunded. And it was just very difficult. And I love your story. And Raul and those who come out, and that's a very, very big heart move for someone to do. And I just appreciate the story, knowing that's out there and what you do. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I too will extend my gratitude to the staff that do a really good job of coordinating this care and supporting our volunteers. We have a huge volunteer network that helps kind of do some of this work. And then the Hidden Heroes program was an addition, kind of a different lens, and not necessarily funded by the county, but it allows our military service members to get specific care for traumatic brain injuries and other kinds of things, and that respite, that ability to take a break from the care, which is often a full-time job plus for people that are trying to do that. So I think it's a wonderful program, and appreciate